Good morning everybody, or good evening. My name's David Lefebvre and welcome to this webinar on Epigeum's Research Skills Master Programme, and we're going to talk especially about the Impact Initiative today. Here are the speakers. This is me on the left hand side. I'll introduce myself shortly. I'm here with my colleague Brian Fletcher, and I'm also with my further colleague Sarah Vaughan. So this is what we're going to talk about today. First of all, I'll talk a little bit about Epigeum for those of you who don't know us. Then I'll hand over to Brian, who will give a demonstration of the Research Skills Master Programme. And then Brian will also introduce the Research Skills Master Programme Impact Initiative, which is a way of measuring the impact of this training programme. Brian will then continue to talk about the importance of data, the tool set and the user experience, and at the end we're going to take Q&A. But at the end of the webinar, hopefully you'll know a little bit more about Epigeum, you'll know what the Research Skills Master Programme looks like, and also learn more detail about the Impact Initiative, which is a way of measuring the impact of the training programme. So this is a little bit about Epigeum. In case you're not familiar with us, we were founded in 2005 as a spin-out from Imperial College London, and we became part of Oxford University Press in May 2015. So we came out of Imperial College, where I run a educational technology department, and what we found was that building very high quality e-learning was too expensive for us at one institution. So what we started to do was build courseware in collaboration with other institutions. So the way Epigeum works is we invite 12, 13, 14 other institutions to come together, collaboratively build a course, pool resources, and then bring in outside experts, professors from other universities, designers, developers, etc. And Epigeum was formed to manage this collaboration process. Once the courses have been tested with the original group and become finalized, we then license them to other institutions. So that's the Epigeum model. And we've become the leading publisher of online courses designed to transform the way in which universities and colleges support their core activities of research, teaching and learning. So we don't go into the core curriculum, but we focus on how to conduct research, how to teach, how to study, so statistics, plagiarism, presentation skills, etc. And we have 78 online courses across 12 programs. So that's the story of Epigeum. We came out of a need within higher education. We're fully owned by a university. We're non-for-profit, and we build very high quality courseware. And the one we're talking about today, the Research Skills Master Programme, was our first set of courses and has long been our most popular. So the customers, so we came out of the UK, and we have 65% of UK higher education institutions using our courses, including 95% of Russell Group members. But it's a similar story in Australia. So you may have come across us before, because we work with the majority of institutions in Australia too. We're used by 33 of the Times Higher Education Top World 100 institutions, primarily because we're very strong on research skills, and so we work a lot with research institutions. And our programs are used by 260 institutions across 29 countries. So from the outset, we acted globally. Okay, if you're not familiar with the courses, you'll see what they look like in a minute, but they can be used in three different ways. First of all, they can be used as standalone, on-demand courses in which one of your researchers logs onto the system at a time and place of their choosing and studies the course. The advantage of this is that it's on demand in a standalone study format. The advantage of this is that researchers can study at the time of need. So when they encounter a training need, for example, they want to conduct a literature review, they want to apply for a grant, they can access training at the time they encounter that problem. The second way they can be used is tutor-supported online. So this is a slightly different scenario where a group of students will start at the same time, progress through together, and be supported by a tutor throughout. So the disadvantage of this is that it's less flexible in terms of when students access the courses, but they get access to a peer support group and a tutor, and the courses contain additional exercise for this purpose. The third way in which they can be used, and is a very common way, is part of a blended learning program. So students study the courses usually in advance of a face-to-face workshop. And this means that the pre-study, the online pre-study, can focus on basic theory and key facts, which frees up the workshop to focus on consolidation of those facts and applying them to a particular context, perhaps the context of their research. So it's a flexible format. They can be delivered in 3 different ways, and usually universities provide it in all 3 ways. So the technical format of the courses is what we call an IMS content package. They can be used in our virtual learning environment, or they can be used within your virtual learning environment. We'll show you a demonstration of the courses now, and you'll be seeing them within our virtual learning environment, but they look very similar whether in Blackboard, Canvas, Desire to Learn, etc. So I'll hand over to Sarah now, who will give a demonstration of the courses.
Thanks, David. Right, so I'm going to give a short demonstration of some of the screens and features of the Research Skills Master Program. So the program consists of 18 core courses plus an introductory course. The core courses are divided into 4 key areas: transferable skills, including intellectual property, career planning, conferences and networking, and getting published; research ethics, research methods, and entrepreneurship. I won't be able to show you the whole program today, but I hope to give you a good idea of the look and feel of the courses and the features we use to make them engaging and effective. So this is the welcome screen. All of our courses start with this. This sets the scene for the course that the students will be taking. So here's a list of the authors, those that have written the materials, the learning outcomes, the course structure, which details what the course will include, some of the highlights to look out for, and also a list of all the supporting institutions who have helped create the course. So I'll start with the first screen of our course on intellectual property in the research context. First, I'll point out some features common to all our courses and screens. At the top of every screen, we have learning outcomes, which indicate what is going to be covered in the screen and what participants should have learned or should be able to do after completing the screen. We also offer a screen duration. Here it's 4 minutes, so that participants have an idea of how long it is likely to take to work through the screen. Screens vary in length throughout the program. So we try to keep participants engaged throughout our courses by using as many of these interactive activities as possible. Here are a few examples from other courses in the programs. So this activity is from our course on managing your research project. The aim is to help participants understand different project roles in the context of a research project. They are presented with a scenario and then asked to identify who is performing which project role while selecting from the drop-down menu. Once they have made their selections, they can click to view some feedback. This kind of activity enables participants to immediately practice and apply concepts introduced in the screen. This is an example of a polling activity from one of our courses on entrepreneurship in the research context. Participants are asked to consider a question, in this case, who should receive the financial gains from technology transfer. When they click vote, they can see how their response compares to those of their peers taking the course. These polling activities are a popular addition to our programs, particularly as they can help to foster a sense of being in a learning community. Often our activities will have a reflective element, encouraging participants to think about a learning point in the context of their own discipline, institution, or research project. So this activity from one of our career planning courses encourages participants to think about their employable skills and attributes and categorize them as excellent, average, and needs practice. Later in the screen, they are encouraged to think about how to demonstrate their excellent skills and qualities and how to improve on the ones they marked as average or needs practice. We use a very broad range of presentational activities to organize, illustrate, and break down information for participants. To give you some other examples, this activity from our course, Getting Published in the Sciences, we've used clickable pinpoints of an image to explain the different elements of a scientific journal article. Now, moving back to the screen we started on, something else I wanted to point out, which you've probably noticed as I open different screens, are our pods. You'll see that on the right-hand side of many of the screens, there are little clickable boxes, or as we refer to them as pods, containing extra information about the main screen content, as well as activities, documents to download, and links to further reading. These pods are a great way of providing participants with an opportunity to extend their learning without bloating the core course content. On this screen, participants can download an information sheet on additional forms of intellectual property, and they can also undertake a portfolio activity. These are an important feature of the Research Skills Master Program. Portfolio activities are an optional exercises giving participants an opportunity to reflect on or extend and apply their learning. Responses to these activities can be stored in the portfolio workbook provided with the program. This can be used for future reference by participants and as a means of assessment if a tutor is used with the online courses. So this screen on design rights includes a useful links pod providing a link to the Intellectual Property Office's website where you can apply for a registered design. Useful links pods are used regularly throughout all the courses to help participants locate additional resources quickly and easily. EPIGM hosts all the useful link pods so that we can update web links as and when they go out of date. This screen also contains one of our video interviews. We try to use video as much as possible in our courses as it really helps to bring the material to life. We interview experienced academics, professional experts, and current students and ask them to share their advice and experience.
So the kind of things that design rights commonly do cover, things like toys, fashion goods, electronics, phones, computers and so on, vehicles, furniture. In fact,
it's worth noting here that all videos have a transcript for accessibility purposes. It's also worth noting that all of our course screens have a text version, so the course is fully accessible for those using screen readers or who are unable to use the interactive version for any reason. We provide lots of opportunities for participants to consolidate, test, and apply their learning, again, using our interactive activities. Most of the units in a course finish with a quick check exercise. This screen in the Intellectual Property course demonstrates a multiple choice quiz activity. Participants select what they think is the correct answer and receive feedback explaining why it is or isn't correct. In this example from Managing Your Research Project, participants can check their understanding of two key terms by classifying a series of examples according to whether they are milestones or deliverables. Finally, in addition to these activities, each of the courses in the Research Skills Master Program finish with one or two practice scenarios. The aim of these exercises is to draw together all the learning points in the course and encourage participants to apply them to a real-world situation. This example from Managing Your Research Project, you'll see the participants are given a scenario about a multidisciplinary research project and are then asked a series of text entry, multiple choice questions about the scenario. So I hope I've given you a good taste of the program content and some of the pedagogical features with this demonstration. I'll now pass on to Brian, who will talk to you in a bit more detail.
Hello. So I'm going to do two things this afternoon for you, or evening in fact. I am going to do a bit of a presentation with just a PowerPoint presentation. That'll be very quick. And then I'm going to do a little demo using one of our other courses and using some quite early demo material. Fundamentally, what we're trying to do with what we call our impact program is we're trying to answer a need that we've found in many universities, which is that once we deliver our courses, many universities, for many different reasons, would like to see a system that gives them information on the efficacy of their programs. So we've been delivering these programs for a long time, but we don't get back strong information about how well students are doing and how well they're learning in the courses. So we decided to design this impact program. Now, obviously, you will all have different reasons for wanting to measure the success of your training, but we put down a few of the potential reasons here. So we think the impact program is important to give you evidence of effectiveness, perhaps because it's required for funding. It may be required for regulatory process, may be required simply because you want to continuously improve the training provision that you give. I think most importantly for us, we feel that with online learning in particular and blended, you have no real evidence apart from quizzes perhaps of what's happening in the learning process. So you need some form of system that helps you to measure that. So with 2 or 3 of our other programs, we started with the Research Integrity program and with 2 other programs of ours, including our major teaching project and program. We decided to run workshops and ask, again, a group of, using the same methodology that we use for publishing, ask a group of universities what we felt or what they felt was worth measuring. And from that, we've currently got 3 ongoing programs in terms of impact. And we have from that both a system and technology in terms of software that we're going to use to deliver the program, the impact program, but also we've got all of the survey items. So what are we measuring? So we've got two systems of measurement essentially. The first we are referring to is general analytics, and those are the type of analytics you can get in most virtual learning environments or LMSs. How many students are doing your course, how many completions of those courses are there, how many certificates have been awarded, and generally what average scores are there. That sort of information we supply in our hosted solution. David mentioned that earlier. And obviously you can also get those sorts of numbers, those sorts of stats through something like Blackboard Analytics. That's not the core piece in the impact program. What we're more interested in is what we're calling here survey analytics. And with that we hope to measure some of these areas. So we hope to measure motivation, expectations and experience of the participants. In particular with the research programs, we hope to measure the climate, so the contextual and cultural factors supporting research in an institution in this case. We hope to measure capabilities, and we hope to measure learning in terms of changes of knowledge or behaviour or skills. In general, what we're looking at then is course effect and efficacy. And then we also will deliver surveys at a point about 6 months after a course is completed. And with that, we hope to look at participant learning outcomes and perceptions and the progressive applications of learning over time. So this is just a little animation that we've done in order to try and explain the program. So fundamentally what we're looking at is student perception, or participant perception, learning, climate are the really major pieces that we're looking at. So the impact system, what it comprises of in total, is we are working with our lead advisors, as we do with the design of new programs in terms of authoring. They are bringing to us survey expertise. So we needed to bring in a number of global lead advisors to work across our impact system in order to make sure that we are carrying out both the writing of surveys and the delivery correctly and in a way that's going to be useful and rigorous for universities. So that's the key piece. We then embed the surveys in courses, and so far we've come up with 2 methodologies for that. One, very simple, where we take the surveys and we put them alongside the courses. And perhaps more effectively, we also now started completely embedding the survey items. So as a participant works their way through one of the courses that Sarah showed you a minute ago, they will come across the survey items and then be asked to complete them. So on top of that, we also are delivering survey reporting. I'll show you some of that in a second. And alongside the reporting, we will also be delivering benchmarking. Now, to be clear, what that means is that when an institution looks at their own data, they will be able to compare that data to the aggregate data that we gather from all of the institutions that are working within the impact system. So if we have 40 or 50 universities using a program with impact, the aggregate of all of those 40 or 50 universities we put together in order to give you a benchmark to compare your own data with. This is an example of an embedded item. I'll show you a better example in the demo in a second. And very quickly, I'm going to flash through these screens because what this is an attempt to show you is some more detail in terms of the measurement construct. So here, the purpose of the capability area of measurement, you can see some of the bullet points here. I'm not going to read through these because it would take too long. Application, motivation, etc., etc. These things we can give you more detail on at a later date, or indeed if you have any questions about this, please write them down now and we can answer them today. So I'm just going to come out of this and open up a demo, if you give me 1 second to do that. So as this loads, just to remind you, this is a very early demo, and what I'm showing you is our research integrity program. So it's not research skills. The reason I'm showing you this is that this is our first prototype, really. We intend to have a workshop for the Research Skills Master Program in order to design the survey items and come up with all of the questions that we need to ask about what we want to measure and how we're going to measure it. We have our first workshop for that in February, so we don't have a prototype for this course yet, so I'm showing you this one. So just very quickly, the first thing I'm showing you is the filtering capability that we're creating. For these filters, an institution will supply us with their needed filters. So for example, here we've got a set of departments, a set of units, and you would essentially fill this piece out. So whatever way you want to filter the data, you would give us that. That's part of the customization of the program. The other filters I'm showing here, these are the measurement areas, so you can filter across measurement area. If you want to focus on motivation and pre-training, then you could do that filter there. That's one piece. Very quickly, just show you some charts. These are not necessarily the visualizations that we will use. They're just a first attempt to begin to show what sort of data we might be able to produce or might be able to generate. Here, what you can see, an answer to a question, and this is the institution's data, and that's compared here with the global data. So every survey item will have this comparison. That's a different visualization here. Again, same thing. Here we're showing all of this is dummy data, the institution, and then the global data alongside that. So again, this is our research integrity course. In fact, our research integrity short course. And all I'm showing you here is this is how an item might be built into the actual course. Again, this is some course text. Here is your standard navigation for the course. I'm just navigating through the course now. And here is a survey item. So how confident are you that all of the research that you've published is based on reliable evidence? If asked, could you produce the evidence supporting your research publications for others to review, etc., etc. As the participant goes through, we encourage them to complete the survey items. They don't have to complete the survey items. There is an opt-in and an opt-out. But one of the features we're adding in order to hopefully motivate them to do so is once they've actually completed a survey item, they can also see the global data for that item. So they can compare their own answer to hopefully a large data set of of respondents. So further going through, so another embedded item. So have you ever been aware of what you regarded as seriously responsible research reports or research behaviours? Never in the unit, never in department, etc. And I hope you can see that from this that we're going to get some very interesting data on climate from this. And again, in this example, you're able to see both respondents' answer and the global aggregate data. So on that note, just to point out again that we don't yet know exactly what it is we want to measure within the research skills program. It's a very large program, so we're going to have a very interesting design challenge in terms of whether we measure at the level of the program or whether we measure at the course level. And this is one of the challenges that we hope to face in our workshop in February, when we will be bringing, again, a large group of universities together in order to talk about exactly what they want to see in this measurement program, and how we construct and write the surveys for impact for this program. So it's a good time to get involved in this one, because universities can, at this stage, really have a very important input into how we design the whole program. And on that note, I'll pass back to Sarah.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed our webinar. We told you a little bit about EPIGM. We're a unique organisation that emerged from the sector. We showed you the courses. The courses have been very well regarded. I hope you agree that they're high quality. They offer you a range of flexible options for usage. And hopefully you know a lot more about our impact initiative now, which is a key initiative that enables you to measure the impact that the courses have. So, any questions? Okay. Well, we don't have any questions. So I guess this means that we've presented effectively. So what next? Well, I hope that you found this interesting. The courses really work. Students like them. They're very high quality. I think maybe the next step, if you're interested, then please contact Wendy Harbottle. Wendy will give you a free trial where you can log on, look at the courses. If you like them and you believe that they'll help your researchers, then you can take a subscription to the courses, or you can join the Impact project, and we'll give you a lot of assistance and help in ensuring that you can use them effectively. So thank you very much for staying late in the evening to attend this webinar, and thank you very much. I hope it was of interest.